this route. And at the same time, if you follow the models, they'll usually get you there. It just, it's so easy to get off a track sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, so for today's class, we called it MREA Leverage with Systems. And really this whole thing came to life last November. I was going through a phase of realizing I wasn't on model. And through that process, I realized I had to let go of my director of operations and my transaction coordinator right around a 2 week period. And what ended up happening is I had to get super real with my systems or lack thereof. And what I had been doing was trying to hire other people to build my systems for me. And unfortunately, nobody knows my business better than I do. And it was one of them pieces that I needed to actually double down on and get put together. And so what happened was transaction coordinator was no longer with us. And I had to start sitting down and writing out our spreadsheet that I'm going to show you here in a little bit. And what I quickly realized when I got it complete was all of the green, which was the transaction coordinator role. There was a lot of green on the spreadsheet, and I didn't want that job back. And so what I had to do was I had to rehire quickly for that role. And I found Cyberbacker to be that link that had qualified workers that met the criteria, what I was looking for. And I needed to get them onboarded and trained. And so by having the spreadsheet put together, I was able to actually train our cyberbacker in the Philippines faster than I was able to not train the transaction coordinator that I had in the role. And so it really hit me like, wow, if I get my systems defined, I could train you in person or on the other side of the ocean just as easy. The hard part is getting the systems in place.
Yeah, like,
So
once you have it in place, you can kind of expand with a lot of different options, right?
exactly, you can audit your system. You can have purposeful conversations with your team of like, when this happens, what else do we want to have happen, and how does that affect the experience that the clients are having, and how do we make the experience better? How do we truly deliver someone a promise of an amazing experience and actually execute on it? And what we found is we do that through smart plans, through effective communication, and through having a standard on what takes place with every one of our transactions.
I think something that was interesting that you said in there too was that you had to get back to being hands-on in the business, right? And so two different books that we focus on a lot, right, are the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, which is what you built these systems off of. But then we're also talking a lot about the book Shift right now, because a lot of people in their markets are experiencing what we believe could be kind of the shift we've been anticipating or waiting for. The MREA talks about, there's the myth understanding in it about only I can provide this level of service, right? I forget the exact quote, but it's essentially only I could do this. But in reality, it's only my clients will only work with me. If for people that are afraid to get the leverage, and it's like, no, they're going to work with the level of standard that you create, or the standard of service that you create. But then in Shift, it also talks about how in a shift, we need to get back hands on our business. And so it's kind of interesting you did that kind of before this is coming up, but I think that's a good tell all for people right now. If you're watching this, considering you have a team or building out a team and you want to build it in this way, is like, this is a critical time to be hands on in your own business and use the leverage. But you need to be creating the leverage, not just kind of like what Mike said, not just throwing it off to someone and saying, oh, well, I hope they do it well. Even something like Cyberbacker, where they're trained in the systems, it's like they're trained in kind of the how to do it, but they need to know what you want them to do. And so just kind of interesting points that you had in there.
No, exactly. Like what I tell everyone is that when you're building a team, an agent that's a solo agent, and I always look at myself as a rookie agent, because in my mind I am. I've only been doing this since 2016. And so when you're building out the systems as an independent agent, those systems are the same as a team system. The difference is who's executing the tasks. And so whether you're a solo agent and you never want to run a team, or you're a solo agent and you want to run a team, or you're running a team, if you don't have your systems in place and you can't define your standard, it doesn't matter who you hire today.
Yeah.
They may not be here tomorrow. And what I realized through this process is I was a really bad trainer and I was a really bad rainmaker because I was too busy wearing the realtor hat and not the business CEO hat. And those are two different hats, and they both have a time and a place. And I think going into a shift, it's time to put on the business CEO hat and really look at your business and ask yourself, if I had $100,000 today and I had an outstanding candidate with an amazing disc and KPA, if I hired them, do I have the systems in place to set them up for success?
Yeah.
Are they going to make it through their 30, 60, 90 and be where I need them to be? Or am I going to set them up to fail and expect them to come up with the systems and standards?
Yeah.
Because if that is what you're counting on, I hate to tell you, it's probably not realistic that you're going to find talent in time to build your systems and get them executed in a 30, 60, 90.
Yeah. And just as a point of housekeeping, if we use terms like 30, 60, 90, KPA, if there's terms we're using because we're very in the ecosystem and you're not sure what they are, like, please ask, like, drop it in the chat. I guarantee there's someone else that has the same question. But just for a little clarification, a 30, 60, 90 is from the Success series or Career Visioning and Success Through Others, where we talk about, and I think it's actually a really good topic while we talk about people leverage, is 30, you have the 30-day, 60-day, and 90-day mark in order to determine if it's a right fit between you as the team and the person you hire, right? And so I love 30, 60, 90 because it kind of takes away some of the fear of, I don't have the money to pay someone for a year. Okay, well, I don't need to pay him for a year. I need to pay him for 90 days. And if I pay him for 90 days and I'm getting those results, we're happy as clams. Like, I'm actually bringing in the money. One other piece of housekeeping, someone asked if this is going to be recorded. That's kind of the fantastic part about doing this on YouTube. Just use this link later. It'll automatically, like, as soon as the recording's done, it'll be there for your viewing. That's kind of why I decided to do it this way instead of Zoom. And then one last question, then let's go to the sides. What's your team structure look like? Like, how did last year's business go, and kind of who do you have working with you?
So last year we did roughly 26 and some change million in production and volume. GCI, we did over 750,000 GCI for our team and agents. Right now we have 3 buyers agents. We have Lisa Dugdale, who's our lead buyer specialist, and she's in the process of coming into a leverage series agent for our team. So it's really exciting to have her with us. And then we have 2 rookie buyers agents that are mentoring under Lisa and myself. And that's our buyer side team right now. And then what we've created is a level 4.2 virtual cyberbacker hub. So we have full-time employees through Cyberbacker. We have a marketing manager who takes care of all of our ads, all of our marketing, graphics, our video editing, all of that stuff. We have our transaction coordinator, Angelica, and she was our first Cyberbacker that we hired. She is pretty much turnkey now, taking care of all of our contract to close on buyer and listing sides for our listings, and she's doing listing management as well. Then we have Hazel, who is now our command contact backer. Her job is strictly to manage our contacts, keep our database health score as close to 100% as possible, which it wasn't. So when we brought Hazel on, our health score was right around 61%. And we are now close to 73, 74% on our health score. And our goal by July is to have it up over 85%. And so we're we're really doubling down on making sure that our database is solid and secure. And recently we just brought on Noel, who is our ISA backer full time. And he's going to be on the phone predominantly Monday through Friday, making calls. So he'll be calling for sale by owners, expireds, Facebook leads, realtor.com leads. He'll be circle prospecting, just listed, just sold, open houses. Basically, he's going to be our full-time guy on the phone in conjunction with the agents. So that's our cyber team. And then we have Sky Pearl, who's our in-house director of operations. And she just launched Keller Williams Young Professionals here in Montana. So we're really excited to see what she's doing, in the KWRI world with young professionals. And that's our team. And so what I realized when I went to leadership camp in Austin and they broke down the models was that I had enough agents at one point to be a level 5 team, but I had the structure of a level 2. And that's where Cyberbackers has really came in and helped us build out the right hub. And I'm really excited to see the progression of where it goes. Long-term goal is to help agents hire and acquire leverage quickly through virtual assistants. And it's something that I'm just super passionate about.
I mean, so you said, so that's, I kind of lost count because Heidi, I kind of forget to pay attention sometimes. So it was about 4 total agents and 5 or 6 admin.
Yep.
Right. So you're looking at, and this is what we see from a lot of top producing and very healthy teams, is either a 50-50 split of agents and admin or more admin than agents. And like I was on the phone with an agent today at another company sitting there saying like, oh, I'm not going to bring on the admins. Like I just need agents to follow up these leads. And it's like such a dangerous little pyramid that we see get built upside down, right? Where it's agents, what's going to make a team most valuable isn't necessarily just leads. It's the administrative support they get, because agents they want to go be agents, don't want to be tied down by everything else. So I think that's awesome that you have so many admins I don't want to say so few agents as a bad thing, but just the ratio to me seems pretty healthy.
Well, yeah, like the way I look at it is like, especially now that we have Keys Please in place at our market center, which is like the Uber for showing assistants. If you look at why teams bring on agents, they bring on agents for leverage of time. You look why agents join teams, they join teams for leverage of experience, mentorship, and value. And if a rainmaker is hiring leverage to get leverage, then it may not be a win-win for this rainmaker to bring on all these buyer's agents, right? And vice versa. And so, like, I've played both sides of this game. I've been the independent agent, and it was really hard to sell me on joining a team. That's why I created my own. And at the same time, as a rainmaker, I see the value in bringing on agents. However, I don't want it to end badly. And the reality of it is, especially going into a shift, if we're not adding overabundance in value to our clients and to our agents on our team, then we're not going to have them.
Yeah.
They're going to go somewhere else. And they're not going to stay with us just because they think we're funny or because we got great graphics.
I was going to say, you got a cool logo behind you. So
yeah, it's awesome. However, what does that logo mean and what's the value that comes with it? And like Lisa, she was our first buyer's agent on our team, and she's still with us, even though we've gotten a lot of things wrong along the way. We've gotten enough things right where she sees the value and she's in it in the long haul for us. And it's kind of like the analogy of the bus. Like, we want people on our bus because of who's on the bus, not necessarily where the bus is going. Yeah. And because the directions could change from time to time. However, if you have the right people on the bus, it's okay. We're going to have a great barbecue and wherever we show up. So,
wherever we end up, we're having a good time.
Yeah, we're happy. Maybe it's Burning Man. We don't know.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to pull your slides up here and we'll start going through those. I am kind of curious. So if you're watching this, drop in the chat kind of where you're at team wise. So I've already seen like location wise, Arizona, Florida, Oregon, Southern California. What about teams? I'm kind of curious. Are people just starting teams? Are people kind of already into their team and they're looking for kind of how to use command on the team they already have? But just drop comments in there. I'm just kind of curious where you're at. And then let's get going. So your slides are up, my friend. Oh, you can hit that little hide button off that little taskbar there. That'll go away and you're good to go.
Boom, boom. All right. So the first question I have for you, Jason, and for everyone watching is, are tasks and checklists a system?
I want to say a part of a system, but maybe not the whole system. It's a good question. Yeah.
No, so tasks and checklists, they are a system. They are. The challenge is if they're not automated, if they're in paper form, there's a lot of room for human error to take place. So looking at like a regular paper system, like here's a good example of a to-do list for an agent. And anytime you can have a task list or a checklist or a to-do list that you can execute, that is a system. It's just a more dated system where you have a lot of room for error. So like this to-do list is a perfect example of an agent system that's going to get them through the day. Mine never looked like this. They were always written in chicken scratch on 5 different pieces of paper and notebooks, and never as executable as this. However, this is a system, okay? When we really think about systems, though, what we're really talking about in the agent world today, we're talking about cultivate all the way to close. So from the time you get a lead till the time you turn it into an opportunity, till the time you go under contract on a property and close, there are a series of tasks that take place that need to be executed, and really it's up to the rainmaker to decide who and when are going to execute these tasks, right? So when we think about leverage, systems with leverage is about people, systems, and tools. It answers 3 important questions: who is going to do it, how will they do it, and what will they do it with? Okay. So if you're watching this, feel free to scan this QR code with your cell phone. It'll bring you into our agent systems that we have. If you save this spreadsheet, save your own copies so you're not editing this one that we share out. This is our accumulation of the last 6 years of business into a spreadsheet from cultivate to close.
Like it's just the whole thing. Like, here you go.
This is our systems. You can take it and run with it. You can edit this. You can add more columns. You can delete things. To kind of give you a rundown, what you'll notice is the CU stands for client updates. Days stands for what day is it going? Are you going to assign these tasks? And so day 1 just means the day that this opportunity slides into this column, you activate the task. And I'll show you a little more in depth how that looks as we move forward.
Are those colors based off of who's doing it?
Exactly. So yellow is agent duty. Blue is our contact backers duty. Red is our director of operations duty. Purple is our marketing admin's duty. And green is our transaction coordinator duty. So as you can see in the cultivate bin, every column's the same. And the reason that is that is our standard. And what's interesting about the way that command sets up is pretty much every duty that's in the cultivate phase, we can execute out of a smart plan. Okay. So a lot of these tasks, we're not setting up as an opportunity task, even though they're there. We have them there so we know they're there, and we have them there so we can articulate our standard of what we require. And where you really start getting into the nuts and bolts of opportunity tasks on the buyer side is when you go under contract. And so for today's class, we're going to do a lot of conversation around the under contract phase. So as you can see, our under contract phase has a lot of green. And it's because of that, I believe a transaction coordinator is your fastest form to leverage out of any other hire out there right now in business. Because when you look at all the green that needs to take place in a day-to-day transaction, it's overwhelming. Like
Yeah.
I'm a high I, and I have some D in me. I'm ADHD, and all that green just kind of loses my interest real quick.
This is a nightmare for high Ds.
Yeah. Like it was like pulling teeth for me to sit down and put all these duties in. However, what's most important for me when I'm talking to agents is, look, I'm going to show you how to do all of this up here. I'm going to help you set everything up so you can execute this. By doing this, you're going to have appointments, and this is our standard on appointments and what we require. Once you get through your appointment, you're going to have an active level 1 buyer or a level 2 buyer, right? You're going to go into negotiations, and then you're going to go under contract. Once you go under contract and you do these 3 things, you're done. You're back up over here talking to more buyers. And the team is going to now take your contract to close, executing every one of these tasks on every one of your contracts that you write.
And so just to be clear, you have these tasks built into the opportunities in Command.
Yep.
Right. And so this spreadsheet is just, this is like the framework of it. And then this makes it duplicatable by others if they want to download your sheet, kind of copy, place, replace. But I just wanted to point that out. That's not like you're logging in and looking at this. It's all built into essentially automation at some point within opportunities.
Exactly. Command is such a beautiful platform. However, it's blank when you start. And if you start just adding tasks into Command and you don't have a master list, and that's really how you got to look at this is our master list of our standards of tasks and procedures that we're going to embed into Command and automate. And then we can, as a team, we can audit this list, we can mastermind on this, and we can add and take away tasks if we deem necessary. And so anything that happens in Command happens on this spreadsheet first and then gets transferred into Command.
Gotcha. No, that's great.
All right. So we'll hop back over here. So when you're in Command and you're in your pipeline, what you'll notice is it has the same brackets that our spreadsheet just had. It has cultivate, it has appointment, it has active, it has under contract. Same thing down. Oh, I'm pushing the wrong buttons. Hold on. There we go.
That'll happen.
Woo. Look out. So for today, again, we're going to be focusing on the under contract phase of the buyer side. Okay. So what we'll do is when you're inside of the under contract phase, this is what it looks like. And again, what you're going to notice is that we have our tasks sitting here on these contact cards. These are the tasks from our list. And now it depends on which phase you are in the under contract setup, on which task you're going to look at. So if you're opening Command for the first time, you would pick whichever phase you're wanting to work on. Today it's under contract, and then you'd click up here where it says Edit Stages. When you edit the stage, it brings you into the back end dashboard for these tasks. Okay, so this thing's loading up here.
Yeah. I was gonna say, dangerous game playing technology live.
Oh, I know, right? Well, we're dangerous. So when you're in here on these phases, The way that you would edit them would be to, if you want to change the name, you would just edit it right there. Okay. If you wanted to change the probability, so what that probability means is when we're in this phase, it has this probability that it will close. Sometimes it's 50-50. And as you go through contingencies, that number is going to grow. And that's what's really going to help you look at your probable income when you're looking at the pipeline. The second thing you're going to notice is you have your checklist. And this is where you'll actually edit your checklist. Okay. So if you wanted to edit a checklist or add a stage, you would start here. And then you'd go to your spreadsheet and you would just copy whatever you were trying to add into command. And you would add that item just like this. So once you have the spreadsheet put together, it's as simple as copy and paste into command.
So that's like, it's a surprisingly simple and amazing tip at the same time. Like, I honestly wouldn't have just thought, just copy the cell from the sheet. Like, it's one of those, it's almost too simple to think.
Like, honestly, once you've audited your spreadsheet and have it set up the way you want, it shouldn't take more than a couple hours to get all of these tasks put into command.
Especially if you have a cyberbacker.
Especially if you have a cyberbacker. In fact, right now we're working on a cyberbacker that's going to do nothing but onboard agents into command. And so basically you come over to us, you give us your contact spreadsheet, and about 24 hours later, you'll log into command and your database will be in there, will be organized to your D2 T2s, and all of your opportunity tasks will be set up. Smart plans will be in place, and you'll be ready to go into business.
Gotcha.
So this is the back end default. If you're looking at your list and you want to have a client update, which means you want that actual task when it's executed, you want the client to know about it. So like right here, it says client update. Yes. So what that means is when our TC to request all property information, seller's OBD, septic permits, approvals from listing agent, and upload in a DocuSign room for buyer's signatures. When our TC does that, we want our clients to know it's been done. So they get a client update on those, and those execute out. And so if we want it to be a default client update, you would check the box here. And then every time you send an opportunity into this column, it's gonna, when the TC checks that box, it's going to send the client an update. So if you wanted to organize your list, you can organize your list just like drop and paste. Like, you can just move things around. You can add a stage. So it's completely customizable. So when you're looking at our spreadsheet, if there's stuff that we're doing that you don't want to do, that is totally fine. Erase it out. If you're doing things above and beyond or a different phase, like, then we'd like to see that. Like, but again, you can put that in there. And I think what's cool about this, as more teams and market centers really start adapting to the opportunity tasks from the cultivate to close process, we're really going to be able to copy the top producing agent standards that they run their teams by. And that's really how I look at this as a standard. Because if you're going to bring people on and train them into the business, unless you're there to babysit them every day, this system will babysit them for you.
And this makes it repeatable. It makes it duplicatable, and it makes it, oh man, I just forgot the word. I had a brilliant thing to say. I'll remember. But basically, it by setting a standard, then your clients come to understand, especially that communication piece. Our clients, per the NAR, survey of home buyers and sellers, communication with their agents is lacking and something that they very much desire. So if we can use anything to either automate it in terms of just kind of sending things out on our behalf or remind us to reach out and contact them, it's going to increase the chances that we work with those people in the future or get referrals from those people, get that 5-star review from those people, right? Because it's an area where we are kind of lacking as business owners in an entire industry.
Exactly. And so the client updates really eliminate that. And again, if you guys have any questions on how do you manipulate your actual phases or checklist items, you do it through the back end of each phase. Okay. And at the end of the day, when you have your spreadsheet and you can look and say, okay, we got residential escrow, land escrow, inspections, property investigation, appraisal, and it keeps going on and on and on until you're clear to close. This is the same thing that happens for every client on every transaction on our team every time.
Predictable was the other word I think I was thinking of. Makes it predictable for both the agent and the client, right? It creates an expectation of here's what happens next. Chris Smith says that he wrote the conversion code, works with Curator. He talks about that all the time of just communicating better about here's what happens next. And that's where you're going to make or break a relationship with a client.
Well, yeah, and like if you look on this list, we get down to like our first phase. What you'll see is there's a couple things, and one is the agent to add clients to the client review smart plan. So we're putting our clients into the client review smart plan the minute they go under contract, because we want to get reviews from our clients when they're excited, when they're happy, before the appraisal doesn't come back where they need it, or the inspector finds mold. We want to literally get that review ahead of the game. And so when we put together our list, it's literally because we've had things that have happened in the past that caused a bad experience for our clients, and we want to eliminate those. And so when you can get all of your agent knowledge out of your head and into the spreadsheet, then you're a business owner, because then you can actually pass these duties off, and you can scale your business out. If I was running my day-to-day with all of this stuff in my head, then I would not be able to leverage out to any help, because they would need me to answer what to do next. If you're articulating your value to agents, like by being able to show them with this color code on the value that your team hub has for them, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory on where the value is sitting. Like they know they don't have to do any of the green anymore, and that's pretty exciting. If you're an independent agent saying, well, I don't have a team, this doesn't matter, it does, because all of these tasks still happen even if you're a solo agent. What changes is what times you're doing them. So you could look at this spreadsheet as a time block color code. Okay, so
Yeah.
you can literally say, okay, in the mornings I'm doing yellow, in the afternoons it's green, and anytime I got a spare moment, I'm going to be doing some marketing and director of operations stuff too. Because basically, when you're a solo agent, you are all of these things.
And I think that point was really good too, about like kind of being able to show someone what else actually happens, right? Like we'll find some agents that are even reluctant to hire a per transaction coordinator. And I think if a TC could show, here's all the different things I do in a transaction, like I said, this terrifies me. Like I don't want to do this. I want to go show some houses. I want to go on a listing appointment.
I'll tell you what, man, like my number was seven under contracts, and everything came to a head with me. Yep. I couldn't keep up. Some agents can do like 14 or 20 before they hit a wall. I was 7 transactions. All the wheels fell off. And the best thing I ever did was I hired a subcontractor transaction coordinator. I paid her $450 a transaction. And it was the best money I ever spent. By being able to do that, it helped propel me into being an actual team.
Someone says, why would an agent not use a TC? Couldn't tell you. Don't know.
Yeah. I honestly, I
Okay.
don't know why. I think a lot of it's ego,
Yeah.
and when I was in my young 20s, I prided myself in doing everything. Now that I'm getting close to 40, I pride myself in leveraging out as much as I can so I can enjoy life.
So you can go fishing, snowmobiling, and rafting, right?
Exactly. I mean,
I watch your Facebook. I know what's up.
I work to live. I don't want to live to work. However, I know that I care so much about my business that if I don't articulate my standard, then if I bring someone to help me, they could either help me build my business or they could help me bury it very quickly.
Earlier, I had brought up the myth understandings from the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, and I just opened it up real quick, and I think it plays perfectly into this, where it says, myth number 5 is my clients will only work with me, only I can deliver quality service. And I think this is extremely evident right here, where you can see Mike created this, right? Mike said he sat down and created this, and maybe by now he's had some people help him create it, but he took his idea of quality service, put it onto paper, well, Google Sheet, put it onto a Google Sheet, transferred it into Command, and now it's duplicatable by everybody, right? And so it says that the truth is your clients aren't loyal to you, they are loyal to the standards you represent. And again, right there, you can see these are Mike's standards, his level of service that's now duplicatable by his team of 8 or 9 different people.
Right? Or like everybody has that client that says, I don't understand what agents get paid for. I'll pull
Yeah.
out the spreadsheet for them real quick and I will show them everything that we're doing on the back end for them. And what's funny is if you have that client that really, you want to show, you can click client update on every one of these tasks. Every day at 9:30, that client could get an update of all of the things that's happening for their transaction. And
Yep.
there's a lot. And
Yep.
so really it's about being able to set up an expectation for your clients and for your agents and yourself on what you expect. And then it's executing them expectations and then reminding them that you did it. And that's where the client updates become so important, is those client updates are reminding your clients that you were back there working for them.
I mean, I think, yeah, this is awesome. Like what's your next nugget of awesome that you have? Nugget of awesome. It's a new thing.
So it goes down to the client updates, right? So when you're looking at your pipeline and you hop in on your under contract, for instance, you can see on the sheet it says off where it says client updates, and so by default, all of the updates are shut off when you create an opportunity, and the agent has to go in and turn them on in order for a client to start receiving updates. For us, what we found is we run all of our opportunities from Cultivate all the way to under contract out of Smart Plans. The minute we go under contract, we then run out of opportunity tasks and client updates gets turned on. So the under contract phase is where we actually turn on our client updates. And so the way that you would turn on a client update is you'd click in onto the contact card. It brings you to the detail sheet, which we're looking at right now. And when you're on your detail sheet, up top, it says client updates. Another thing you'll notice is your task list. So you can access your task list from the opportunity pipeline. You can access it from the detail sheet, and you can access it from the task widget or applet here on the left-hand side. So an agent has 3 ways to get in front of their tasks. And if they're over here, it's all of their tasks. If they're working it from the opportunity card, it's the individual task for this opportunity. So for instance, right now we'll click in and we want to turn this opportunity update on. So I turn it on and now I get to decide who gets the actual update. Well, since I'm the agent, I'm going to get an update that something's happened, and our buyer's going to get an update. And if I wanted to start adding more people to this update, I could do that right here. So let's say you're working with buyers and their parents are involved, or their cousin's a contractor and he wants to be involved. You can add anybody into the update. that you want. And what's beautiful about this is if you are on a team and your transaction coordinator is back there executing on your behalf, your clients are getting updates that you're doing things and you're getting updates as well. So just by going through your email, you can see what your transaction coordinator is doing on your contracts so that you're not left in the dark when you talk to your client. You kind of have a good idea of what's happening in real time because of these. And the preview to the update looks like this.
Perfect. Someone just put it in the chat. I was just about to say that. Is you have an example of what it looks like?
And so this is all generic right here. Your properties information would all pop up here that you were working on. And this is the point I want to make. When you make those tasks that the client is going to get the update on, create the verbiage so that it makes sense to them, because they're not real estate agents. So you don't want to use a lot of abbreviations on these tasks. You want to make it read almost like it was for the client, because it's what they're going to see when it gets executed. So each day that your transaction coordinator or yourself are executing these tasks, the following day is when they receive the client update. And it'll be all of the tasks from the day before.
Like, how awesome is that then they say, okay, here's what happens next, right? It's not only is it showing them what's next, it's showing them I'm working on your behalf behind the scenes. And I do know, I actually haven't used the client updates that much, but I do know, and the question has come up, well, if I don't do something, is it going to still send the update? No, it's only sending it when it knows that you completed a task in order to send it on, but again, there's so much that goes on behind the scenes that we don't want the client to feel, right? I don't want them to feel the pain of all these different things that we're doing. That's what we get paid for. But I want them to see what they're paying us for, right? That it's not just, we're in escrow, tell the escrow company when we're closed, I'll get my check then, see you later, right? We want them to see like, no, we're actually doing a ton of work on your behalf behind the scenes.
Exactly. And so let's say you're working on a transaction for someone and you decide that you want them, you can see none of these updates are by default there. We could go in and we could select all of these now on this opportunity. And now the client's going to get updates anytime the transaction coordinator executes these. They're going to get updates on all of these, right? At the same time, you don't have to have any of those selected. Or you could add a new item. So let's say you're working on a transaction and something comes up. You don't want it to drop the ball on it. You put the updated task in here. Maybe it's let's just make something up.
Like ordering another inspection, right? Like that always comes up, right?
Order new inspection. Can't spell this afternoon. Okay.
That's fine.
So then we want the client to know that they're going to get an update on this because we've ordered it for them. And I'm going to assign this to Angelica, our transaction coordinator, and I need it done today. So now it's on the list.
So go ahead.
I was going to say, and what you'll notice is this one I actually assigned and dated. If you don't add the due date, it will not syndicate to your task applet until you've assigned and set a due date. And that's why our list shows day one, because anytime we are in that column, I want that due date set.
And so that's someone actually goes in and manually sets those, right?
Correct. So right now, like according to our list, the agent's duty is to walk opportunity through all stages and assign tasks to TC, admin, and marketing for file. And I had a little bit of pushback from agents. Well, that's a lot of redundant stuff that we have to do. And I respond back, yes. However, I want you to know what our process and standard is, because at some point when we get our next upgrade with command and opportunities, all of this stuff will be by default once you get it in there. And so right now, I like that you have to assign it because I want agents to know what's happening. I want agents to know what the transaction coordinators are doing, and I want them to understand our process. If it's too automated, then they just expect it and they don't understand the why behind it. So right now I love the fact that command is as raw as it is, because it really gives us the ability to build it out in real time and understand the why behind it.
Gloria asked, are those client update emails, those are just set by default, right? You don't have to modify them or anything. It's just automatic.
They're just automatic. The only difference is if you wanted to, you have your, by default, it's checked. And the ones that you don't add by default, then you'd have to check the box if you wanted the client to get one.
Yeah, but the design itself, you don't have to create it or anything. It's already done.
It's all turnkey by default. You don't have to do anything. All you have to do is get the tasks into the command opportunity and assign. That's it.
Right. All you have to do is the work, and that's always the part that's tricky getting people to do, is the work.
And that's why we're working with Cyberbacker right now, to have backers that can get this set up for you in under 48 hours. Because we understand that a lot of agents don't want to stop, even though they should. They don't want to stop production. And the reality of it is you either got to stop production and get this defined, or you got to pay someone else to do it. Either way, like, you have to get it done as fast as possible, because once they start making more upgrades into command opportunities and this stuff becomes defaulted and super easy to run through, it's still not going to do any good if you don't have the tasks in there.
Yeah, makes sense.
And so, like, get in there and get utilizing. It is your fastest form of leverage, hands down, is in opportunity tasks and smart plans. That's my truthful opinion. If you're looking for leverage and you don't want to hire anyone, get your tasks and smart plans figured out quickly.
Gotcha.
All right. So that's our client update pitch. So now we're going to go into our tasks and what it looks like with tasks. Okay. So with opportunity tasks, you have your contact tasks, and then you have your opportunity tasks. And I know I mentioned a few times, we work smart plans till we're under contract, and then we're going to opportunity tasks. So when you're in the task applet, let's see here, it's scrolling for a sec. I play risky business, Jason. I just like
to do, especially on a Tuesday.
On a Tuesday, I'm running full on in. Here we go. Boom. Go. So you got your opportunity tasks, okay? And then you got your team contact tasks over here. So the difference is if you're wanting to run smart plans, you can run your smart plans out of your team contact tasks, whereas your opportunity tasks are living over here in this other portal. They got some upgrades coming down the line that are going to kind of, sounds like, wrap the two together. So if you're not using tasks in command, you're missing out on a huge oversight piece as a team. So what's cool is on team tasks, now this is anything that's smart plan related, I can look at my team and I can see what agents are past due on tasks and which agents aren't. So I can click on past due. I can come over here and I can hit filter, and I can filter by agent name. So I can say, okay, what's Jay Lynn doing? And I can say, oh, Jay Lynn's got some past due tasks here. She's got a bunch of them, and a lot of them look like call tasks. So now I can be a rainmaker, and I can step in and I can have a conversation about, like, why are we getting so far behind on past due tasks? I can come in and I can reschedule, edit. I can reassign. So if I have tasks that I want to reassign to somebody else on the team, I can come in here and do that. So being able to run through contact tasks has been a game changer of oversight for us as a team. And then being able to look at our opportunity tasks and know, okay, I need to get these done, or I need to snooze these, or I need to reassign these. And these are where all of our tasks live. So our transaction coordinator the tasks that you're looking at right now, these are strictly for me. These are all the yellow tasks that were on that sheet are right here for me. And so, yeah, as you can see, I have some work to do today when I'm done with this call with y'all, because I need to fall back through and get all of this executed.
I mean, yeah, that's great. Then from managing the team, right? Like, how many rainmakers have we seen kind of just expect their team to kind of roll through? And again, they're not holding them to their standard. So it splits the standard of the team. And so this allows that, let's call it friendly accountability with the team members.
Right. Well, what I found, one of my hugest hardships I had, because I'm a high I and I wasn't running a proper 30, 60, 90, was that I would let agents not do what they were supposed to do for way too long.
You were being their friend.
Yeah, by the time it came to being accountable, I had already lost all control of that ship. And that really set the agents up for failure. And it made me realize that I had to define a standard. And so and that's what we do with smart plans. Like, the opportunity tasks are great for your full on standard and accountability for the whole team on cultivate to close. And then the smart plans double down on it. That's what's amazing about smart plans. Does anybody have any questions on opportunity tasks versus contact tasks?
I haven't seen anything come in, but the main thing is just right when it's actually coming out of the opportunity versus when it's coming out of a smart plan, right?
Yep. So as we roll into the second part of this class, my question for you is, can a smart plan be a system?
I would think so. Or again, a piece of a system.
You're batting 100 today, bro. I'm telling you.
Man. Woo!
Yeah.
We did not plan this ahead of time either.
We haven't even. I haven't even looked at these slides before. No. So yes, a smart plan is a system, and what's awesome about it is it's an automated system. In my opinion, a smart plan, and again, this is my opinion, a smart plan can only be smart if you're using Twilio text messaging, because that's what's going to actually give you your leverage. Because if you're just using smart plans to follow tasks, then you still have to execute, which is not scalable. However, if you can grab a smart plan and add touch communication in there that communicates with your database and your clients and your leads for you half of the time, well, now that's a pretty smart plan and it's scalable. So when we think about smart plans, it's really, how do you define your standard into a plan?
And just as a quick side note for anybody wondering, so Twilio is a texting service, right? Where it's going to come, it's a third-party company that's tied into Command. It's going to communicate with the people that we have it assigned to through SMS texts. And yes, it comes with a fee, and it is so minimal, like it doesn't matter.
It's the best $3 I ever spent. I tell you.
Yeah. I think in our office, we had to up it to the $6 a month plan, just because we do enough. It's like $6 to text all those people. Like, okay, sounds good.
So what I'm going to show you all today is our Facebook conversion code smart plan. And we base this smart plan off of the book, The Conversion Code, that you mentioned earlier.
Oh, I got it. You can't see me, Mike, but I'm holding it up right now. Version 2, the new one.
Oh, the new one. I'm going to get it.
Just came out last week.
This was probably one of the best books I ever read. So 2 years ago, when Conversion Monster came out, that was like my first attempt at leveraging out conversion, and it didn't work. And so then I went back and I read the conversion code. And what I realized is the service that Conversion Monster offers for everyone, we already have for free with smart plans in Command. The agent duty always needs to call, and you can hire ISAs and leverage that out if you want. However, at the end of the day, if you want to win, you have to pick up the phone and call, and then all the other pieces can get automated through smart plans. So we actually gave Conversion Monster 2 chances at our business, and we fired him twice because we can deliver a better service in real time with smart plans out of command for free. And I truly believe that. So with this smart plan, what I want you all to look at is day one, what takes place. So when a lead comes in and an agent claims it, the first thing they do on our team is they send that client an introduction bomb video from their cell phone, not from Twilio, but from their actual cell phone. And I'll tell you why we do that here in a sec. The second step that they do is within 15 minutes of sending that video, they call that contact 3 times. Okay. If they answer the first time, they don't call back the other 2. However, if they don't answer the first call, they hang up, count to 10, call again. Hang up, count to 10, call again. That step right there upped our conversion by probably about 30%.
All right. I have to ask, because I know someone else is thinking it, because I am. How often does someone pick up the 3rd time and they're mad that you call them 3 times?
Very, very few. I consider it the same as calling for sale by owners. And sometimes you call a bad for sale by owner, right? Makes you never want to call for sale by owners again. And then you call the next number and they're like, oh yeah, I would love to do business with you. So we're not looking for the no's in this. We're looking for the yeses. And the reality of it is especially if you're sharing, like say you're buying realtor.com leads, for instance, and it's a shared market or zip code, like you're not the only person calling that number. And so if you call one time and like, oh, Tommy didn't answer, and you don't call back again, there are other agents calling that number. And if you don't call enough times, they're not going to call you back and they're not going to pick up. Like, and you're not going to convert them. And there's going to be another one of your bad leads that you have. And so the idea of this is, yes, it's aggressive. However, we're in an aggressive market, and we desire to get our unfair share of the market, which means we're going to call as many times as it takes to get them on the phone. So step 3 is it re-articulates some of the first 2 steps, but it's just a checklist now for the agent. And it is add client tags, send bomb video, create safe search and command, add to neighborhood and monthly neighborhood nurture smart plan, find on Facebook, send friend requests, update B-Day, and gather any other info. And if they actually respond or answer, remove them from this smart plan, right? If we go back to our spreadsheet and we look at our cultivate phase, what we'll find is pretty much everything that's in right here is our standard in our step 1 of any lead coming onto our team.
That's so in detail, right? Like, of do these little things. How often are people looking for, here's what to do? And what happens is an agent comes to the office, they sit down, it's like, maybe they even did their lead generation in the morning, in the afternoon, it's like, I don't know what to do. Here you go, do this. Like, do these
really
things.
Hit home to me as I had agents and I was going so fast. I was a bad trainer, right? I just kind of figured everybody would know what to do. And what I found was they didn't. And it was my fault. And so then I had to stop for a minute and say, okay, how do we make this not a problem anymore? And we did it through the form of the smart plan. So then what you'll notice in this smart plan, so this is day 1, we're calling. And the reason why we send the bomb video from our cell phone is on day 2, when the text messages actually start kicking in, that first message is going to give them an opt out. And we don't want anyone to have that opportunity to opt out day 1. I want to at least get these videos to them, get the chance to call them 3 times before they ever have the opportunity to opt out the next day. So this is day 1. And then an email goes out that same day. And again, we've done all of our emails basically off of simple, because if you read the book, The Conversion Code, what they found is HTML emails look generic and they have a less open rate than just a raw email does.
And I think I've only read like the first chapter in the new one, and I think it goes in even deeper to that standard text emails, it's not even necessarily the open rate, it's the reply rate, the engagement rate.
Yeah.
Like of how often people will see that. I mean, we use smart plans to communicate with our agents in the office. And I've had agents say like, hey, thanks so much for sending me that email. Like, do you really not realize what I just did? But hey, it works, right? It works for a reason.
And what's amazing about it is I think one of the biggest reasons why we were reluctant to get into smart plans and a lot of our agents was because we didn't have all the fancy emails ready. So it was, as soon as I get my emails ready, then I'll do smart plans. No, get in there and make smart plans as sloppy as you want today. They don't have to be perfect. In fact, if you have misspellings, people respond to text more. Like which is great for me because I can't spell. So if I send all of my contacts perfect spelled out text messages, they know it wasn't me, right?
I think it was from Chris Smith. I don't use it anymore, but it used to be my favorite automatic first text to go out when a lead came in. It just said, "Hi, is this first name?" That's all it said. People will respond, at least back then. I bet people would be more reluctant now, but that was a few years ago. People would respond to that. I had like a 70% response rate to that text going out at the time in Follow Up Boss. And it was just like, hey, is this so-and-so? Like, yes, because you know why? It sounded human. A question Janelle asked was, do you have these published in the Smart Plan library?
We do. I need to update this one in there and some of our client smart plans that we've recently redone because we have smart plans for every.
I know you have a couple different Facebook ones in there.
Yeah, we have a Magic Mike one that's in there that's very similar to this. However, I think this one's better. So I'll make sure to update all of our smart plans before the end of the week for you guys. That way,
basically, I'm sure if you search author name, just type in last name, just HYDE, you should find it in there. Should be pretty simple.
Yeah, no, it's in there. And if you guys are watching this, check out our Command Your Sphere Smart Plan. It's another class that we can do for you guys if you'd like. It's all about how to engage with your database, utilizing all of these tools, and really developing that relationship where you can actually feel confident in asking for business. And in fact, I would encourage y'all, if we have time today, I'll show you a little bit of the pieces of that smart plan and why it's so important. But with Twilio, in order to use it with your database, that first text is going to have that opt out. And so that smart plan is designed for you to reach out to your database before you put them in smart plans. Because if you utilize smart plans with your database, you will be able to communicate better than you ever have, build better relationships in less time, and they don't have a clue that it's you doing it or it's the smart plan doing it.
And that was, I have had this question ready for you for like 2 months about like, even before we came up with this class. So objection commonly heard about using Twilio in Command is that the very first text that you send to somebody, it's going to insert extra language into the text that you cannot remove that says to unsubscribe, like to unsubscribe, or if you'd rather, I think it's if you'd rather receive this, rather communicate in email, or want to unsubscribe, please reply stop. It's KW being extra cautious around TCPA and spam rules. And I believe a lot of people think that when that goes out to leads, they're just always going to unsubscribe. That if I send it to 100 leads, 99 are going to unsubscribe and one's my mom. So what have you guys seen from Facebook leads specifically, or whoever? What have you seen from unsubscribe rates?
So when that first came out, it about stopped me in my tracks because at that point in time, we'd already been using Twilio for over a year with our database. And so it was right before November when they did the Twilio integration upgrade. And I realized that all of my contacts were going to get an opt out. And so it threw a huge wrench in our pie giveaway that year. I almost didn't use it. And then I was finally like, I was like, God, if this is the way it has to be, then we got to rip this Band-Aid. What I found out of sending 480 of my contacts a pie giveaway text, I lost 7 contacts. If you give away pie for your first text, everybody's going to come get their pie. They're not going to opt out. We lost 7 out of 470 contacts. Wasn't a huge deal. And honestly, that's why we built the Command Your Sphere guide and Smart Plan. Was we realized the power that we had with Twilio, and we realized that we needed to articulate to our contacts how to communicate with us. And so that Smart Plan, I'll show it to you guys here in a sec. It's designed for you to reach out and get your contacts to opt in to all the automations that we have with Command, because Command's so powerful that we can bulk update, we can bulk text, we can bulk add to Smart Plans, we can bulk add to my monthly neighborhood nurture Smart Plans. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And one of the best Smart Plans we have in Command is the birthday Smart Plan. It's a 4-touch Smart Plan that reminds you to mail the birthday card. It sends them a birthday text, and you don't want your birthday text to come out with an opt out.
To be the first text that they get is happy birthday, reply stop to unsubscribe.
Yes, and it's one
Nothing
of our
says personal touch like a robot.
Yeah, and so you have to get ahead of that. And Gary and the team are doing their best for us not to get sued. So we have to have that TCPA verbiage in there because it protects us. And so once we know that we have an obstacle, we have to come up with a solution. And that's what the Command Your Sphere Smart Plan is all about, is getting in front of that. As far as Facebook leads are concerned, we very few opt-outs. If we're running 100 Facebook leads in, maybe 2% or 3% will opt out.
So you
not
figure
not very
you
big
figure
number.
that initial with Facebook ads, we expect, maybe a 15% or so pickup rate of those ones when you're trying to contact them right away. Within that first 15 minutes or 5 minutes, we see about 15%. So if you're saying 2 to 3%, it's only a fraction of the people that you're already going to be talking to.
And we're not going to give them that opportunity on day one. On day one, they're getting the text from our personal cell phone.
That's fantastic. Fantastic.
So day one is our cell phone and we're calling. Day 2 is when the texts kick in. So we have a 1-day delay and then the automated text start kicking in. And what you'll see is this one's a static text because we're not going to run this Smart Plan over and over. It's a one and done. So on day 2, they're going to get a text. They're going to get another email. This one we built out for the mobile search app. So this one does have an HTML email with it. Another day delay, then another text message, then a 1-day delay, and then an email and a phone call. So our agents have to call on day 1, and our agents have to call on day 4.
That one piece right there about not having the text go out immediately, I think that solves it. Where they are getting the personal touch at first, right? They got a text with a video because it's through BombBomb. So it's a video text, personalized, I'm assuming, right? It's, hey, Mike, this is Jason from Keller Williams. You just subscribed on our Facebook page or whatever the script is. It's like, oh my God, like talk about tying in a personal relation. Then fine. They didn't pick up the phone. They didn't respond to the email. They didn't pick up the phone the 3 times he called them. They got the text. They didn't respond to the email. Okay, now we can go into the automation. Now we can let the robot kind of take over a little bit.
Yep. Fantastic. And then you hop back in on day 4 and you do it again. And so on day 4, you could send a BombBomb again. You could call again. You kind of repeat day 1. And then you have another day delay and then another text message and then a day delay. And now you got to create a task. And again, this is another BombBomb task. And this is where we send another BombBomb video to touch base with them.
I mean, talk about eliminating, in a way, call reluctance, right? When agents just, I've called this guy like 10 times, like he never picks up. It's like, to me, shooting the video is even easier. Hey, here's a quick video, hey, pick up your phone, right? Jill asked in the chat, how do you overcome the battle with Twilio not being from your actual cell phone number? Or rather, is that a battle for you? And if so, how do you overcome it?
So let's hop over here, and I'm gonna hop off of this slide real quick, and we're just gonna hop in to the other smart plan I was telling you about.
Okay.
Actually, what
I
we did.
mean, while that loads, someone asked, why do we need BombBomb? It's really, BombBomb is about simple video text. It's going to, like, if I shoot a video on my phone and send the text out, it's a larger file, right? And it's harder deliverability. But then also with BombBomb, when it sends that video, I can also see if somebody watched the video. And so it's just
Exactly.
it's an extra little, if I send the video to Mike, he might get the text and not click on it. And when he doesn't click on the video, I never know. But with BombBomb, I can actually see, hey, I sent that text to Mike. Mike watched the video. That tells me maybe it's at least a real person, but it may not be the person I'm trying to reach out to. If it was a Facebook lead, maybe it's bad info, but it's getting me one step closer.
And it lets us know that they have a phone in their hand and it's time to call.
And to clarify, BombBomb does not integrate with Twilio. So that's what he's saying of step one. So like the Facebook lead comes in, I'm assuming your Facebook leads or your Facebook ads, you have them tie automatically to the smart plan. So the smart plan triggers right away, sends the agent the task. And the first task is that the agent is supposed to send a BombBomb video first. Yep. If the person responds within that first day, they terminate the smart plan so that they don't then get the Twilio the next day trying to follow up with them.
Exactly. We have other smart plans after that, because if someone responds, you're either going to end up with a couple different things. One is an opportunity. They're looking to buy or sell in the next X amount of time, or it was literally the wrong information and they're not interested. That would be the only like bad lead, right? Or it's the phone number and email are just wrong. It was Elvis Presley or whatever. And so the minute we have that conversation, then we go into different smart plans. But we're always trying to get them down the pipeline. And that's why we start everything and cultivate. The minute someone becomes an opportunity, it means that they rose their hand and they said, yep, I'm looking to buy or sell in the next X amount of time. And then they come into our ecosystem. And what you'll see in our cultivate is we have level 2, 3, and credit repair, because we only want our agents working level 1 buyers actively. Everything else can get ran this way through smart plans. Level 1 buyers don't want to be communicated with like level 2 buyers. Level 3 buyers do not want to be communicated with like level 1 buyers because they think it's too pushy. If you communicate with a level 1 buyer like they're a level 3, they're going to go buy a property from a Zillow agent who responds to them. And so we're using our smart plans to communicate. So for instance, a level 1 smart plan, 1 week, they're going to get a text saying, hey, Jason, just wanted to check in on your search. Do you have any questions? The next week, it's going to be a task reminder for the agent to call them. The following week, it's going to be a text again. So we're using the text messages to over communicate and cut our agents' actual duties down in half.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And that's when they're really a smart plan. So the was it Jill? So Jill, this is our Command Your Sphere class. I'm not going to run through the whole thing, but the idea of this class is to really double down on your sphere. One of the best things I did in my career was I joined a team called BTG out of Phoenix. They were with Keller Williams at the time. And Brandon Tracy, the owner of that company, he had a class that he'd called 8 Steps to a Database, basically. And so what I did was I grabbed everything that they taught us, and then I wrapped it into Command and made a new smart plan all about Command. And so the idea of what they mentioned, like, how do you let your clients and your sphere, your friends know you have 2 numbers? And it's so simple, it almost hurts. You do that by picking up the phone and calling them and going through this script with them. So I'm going to get over here to the script. And we should really do this class, Jason, when you guys have time.
Yeah.
Great class.
I'm trying to bait Matt into subscribing to the YouTube channel. So I told him if he subscribes, then I'll have you back for this one.
Perfect. So basically, what this call does is we reach out to our database. We make sure they have 2 minutes for us, and we let them know right away it's a business call. We don't want our database to think we're calling to talk about the kids and barbecuing and then asking about business. We want them to know immediately when we call them if it's going to be a business call, that it's a business call, because we want to set that expectation. So when they say yes, they have 2 minutes for us. We go into our dialogue, which is like, hey, Jason, as you probably know, I have Hyde and Associates, and I really wanted just to reach out to you today to ask for your support in developing my business. I'm not going to ask you to do too much, but can I ask you to do something easy? Jason will say yes, and I'll say perfect. We just released our new mobile app, and I was hoping I could send it to you so you could demo it and share it with some of your friends and family to give us some of your honest feedback. I'd really appreciate that. Is that something you could do for me? When the client says yes, I say perfect. I will send you the link to download the app from my work number as soon as we hang up today.
So you're just treating it like I have a work number and my cell phone number.
Yep, I have a work number and I have my cell number. And I can go into a little more dialogue, and if I would like, I can say, yeah, that's my work number. Make sure to save it. Make sure you save my personal cell number that I'm talking to you on. You can get a hold of me from either number moving forward.
And I will say, I've, even before I had Twilio in command, I had texting and follow-up boss, for instance, and I would be communicating with Facebook leads or open house leads there first. And then I would move them over. You know what? That's my work number. Let me actually give you my personal cell phone number. It'll be easier for me to communicate with you. And they love it. Like, it makes it sound like, you know what? I'm moving you from the everybody circle into my inner circle. Like, here's my personal number. And like, they're into it. And then a smart plan would then send something out to them on the other one before. It doesn't really matter. And I will say now with the KW Command app, having Twilio integrated into it, super easy to communicate with with people through Twilio in the command app.
What I found is a lot of my database is communicating with me through Twilio now, and I'd rather it be that way because I'm so full steam ahead and I'm a bad friend when I get busy that my actual cyberbackers are responding back to my friends for me through Twilio. And I'm not like forgetting to respond back to my friends. And then they set me task reminders to respond back to my friends for me. So if I get a text message from one of my friends in Twilio, our cyberbacker will see it. And they're like, oh, Mike should probably respond back. They'll set me a task so I can respond back to my friend. And now I'm a better friend.
That's another genius one because, like, I don't know how often I complain. I'm an Apple user. I don't know if you are. I hope you are.
Yep, I am.
I don't know how often I complain that my texts, I can't mark them unread, because what happens is I read it and then I'm like, oh, I'll get back to that. And I like have to set an alarm to get back to it. So that's kind of baller to have someone else remind you, hey, you didn't follow up with so-and-so. So you are now using technology and other people to actually be a better friend.
Yeah, it's leverage 101, and through it, we're building better relationships.
Yeah, I'm actually being a better friend and actually showing you I care by having someone else help me with it. I think that's interesting.
And that's how this smart plan is designed, because by the time you get through the end of this call script, you're asking them for if it's okay if you send them a note card. They're saying yes. You're making sure you got the right mailing address. You're letting them know that you're going to send your email information over with all your contact info on it. And then you're making sure you have the correct email for them. So what you're doing with this introductory call on this smart plan is you're getting them opted in to help you with your business. You're getting them familiar that you have another number and not to opt out. You're updating their address, you're updating their email, and at the end of it, you're just letting them know that you appreciate the opportunity to earn their trust and confidence as a professional, and that you're willing to do the work that's going to take to make that happen. You're not asking for business. You're just literally asking for them to step into a professional relationship with you.
Yeah.
Once you do this call and you activate the smart plan, The text message goes out with your mobile app, and then the next day you get a reminder to do the note card. Then 2 days later, a text goes out to make sure that they received the actual note card. When they respond back to that they received the note card, it looks like this. You respond back with this text message here. And this is where you actually get their permission to put them into a My Monthly Nurture Smart Plan. So our rule is if it's a lead, they automatically have to go into My Monthly Nurture Smart Plan, period. If it's our database, we want their permission because we want to add value to everybody around us. Command is so easy to bulk update everybody into things that it may not get you the same return in value as it will if you actually ask their permission. So when this text message goes out, this is not automated. The responses aren't automated. This message right here up top is. So this will come from Twilio, and then you'll respond back with these messages. And how we do that is on our dashboard. We have all of our text responses right here. So I can just copy and paste responses into Twilio right from my dashboard.
Oh my goodness. You're a genius. I just want you to know that. Someone said it's kind of hard to see that on the screen. Is there a way that they can see this like on their computer? Like, do you have this available that people can see?
What I'll do is at the end of this meeting, I'm going to send you, if you guys look me up, Michael Hyde, inside of the library for smart plans, you'll see the smart plan. It'll have a link to this, to all of this. In fact, if we go into our smart plans, I'll just show you guys the library. So the library is full of great smart plans. You don't need to reinvent the wheel unless you want to. If you go in here, there are so many smart plans for you to poach from, duplicate, rip off, recreate, make them your own, like have fun in the smart plan role. And in fact,
good.
I was going to say, like back when I first started, they said our job description was lead generate, lead follow up, go on appointments, negotiate contracts, practice and role play your scripts and dialogue. And now I think that transfers into smart plans because smart plans are automated scripts and dialogue that our clients are reading instead of hearing us say. And so you have to make time each day for smart plans because they are one of your fastest form of leverage for free that you have access to as agents.
Will you type your name in right there real quick? I just want to make sure because someone said there's about 10. Does that look right for you?
Yep.
Okay.
So right here's the Command Your Sphere smart plan.
And just as a note, this isn't what he has created. This is what he's had published, right? So I'm sure he has hundreds in there that I have so many where I'm just testing things.
Yeah, like right now in our team library, we have 76 smart plans that we're running. And it gets kind of chaotic sometimes, but that's what we have. What I would tell you, our most used smart plans are going to be level 1 buyer search smart plans, level 2, level 3 smart plans that are just communication smart plans. Same thing with our sellers. We have our seller smart plans. We have our under contract smart plans. And those smart plans are real basic communication smart plans that make it so we can run 100 miles an hour forward and we're not going to forget to follow up with our clients.
As another side note, like, yeah, when we I'll send out an email when we're all done. We'll have links to everything that he's mentioned, such as the spreadsheet. We'll get it all out there to everyone that registered. And then I'll update the description in YouTube down below at the end of this to have all the links in it.
Yeah, and I'll send you access to our actual guide for this smart plan, so you have access to that too. And then anytime you guys want to come on and do this actual class, we're more than happy to teach this class. I think that the Command Your Sphere class is one of the best classes for agents to take right now, especially going into a shift, because it's going to get your people on the bus. Like, because in this shift, like the train station is leaving, like the train's leaving the station. And if you don't have your people with you, then they may be with somebody else and you just don't know.
Matt did subscribe, so I can have you back for the next one. So
All
good
right,
news.
Matt.
Good news for everyone on that. Matt's the team player here.
I like it. So that's really the rundown for smart plans today. So when we really think about like smart plans, you can make a smart plan for literally anything. These are our most used smart plans right here that we use. And I think if you think about client updates is a big one. The happy birthday smart plan is one of the best. However, you don't want to be the first text your database gets. So by getting the Command Your Sphere smart plan done, it gives you the opportunity because it runs 24 days. And what it does is you're asking for their permission. You're telling them you're going to do something. You're doing it. Then it's following up for you to confirm they received what you said you're going to do. So you're establishing a couple things. One, you're establishing that you desire to have a professional relationship with your contact. Two, you're getting them opted into your text communication and into your business. Three, you're updating all of their information to make sure you have the right contact information, bringing your health score on your database up. And then four, you're following up, showing that you care enough to make sure they received everything that you said you're going to send to them. So by the time you get to the end of your Command Your Sphere smart plan, you've literally established a whole different relationship with your contact. And then you can ask for business. And like one of the last emails that comes out on it is the how to refer me business email. And so that email describes to your contact how they send you business so that you don't run into your friend at the store and them say, hey, did my neighbor call you? I told him to call you. And the neighbor never called because they're never going to call. And so you're teaching your contacts on how to send you business. And then the last call from it is literally the like, hey, do you know anyone looking to buy or sell real estate that I can call today? So it takes 24 days for you to get to the point where you actually ask for business. And what you'll find is you'll get more business by doing this, and it'll get rid of your call reluctancy because once you get this call done, all the other calls are fun calls. You're inviting them to events, you're checking in on them. It makes it so much more of an enjoyable time to call your database once you've got this under your belt.
Yeah, once you've kind of like laid that foundation, right? Of like, hey, I'm not going to call you every quarter and ask you, who do you know that wants to buy a house, sell a house, invest in real estate, right? Like that used to be always the script in bold, right? Who do you know wants to buy a house, sell a house, invest in real estate? It's like, no. However, every now and then I just need to remind you that here's how you can best help me serve you or help me serve your referral partner or your friends and family, however you want to look at it. Because like at the end of the day, we are in sales, right? And so we got to sell just a little bit to our sphere. I don't want to do too much, but if you never do it at all, that's when you're like, Dad, why did you buy a house with someone else? I told you I'm in real estate. Right.
Yeah.
So we got to give them just a little bit of that hook.
So another thing that you'll notice when you're looking at our opportunities is we run opportunity tags. Okay. And so for instance, you got opportunity tags and then you have contact tags, and they're two different things. Look, I even got Abby Lacey as a sample buyer the other day.
Yeah, sure. Sample.
Abby,
now we know who she works with.
I expect you to buy this home.
She's moving to Montana.
So what you'll notice is we have tags on everything. And the reason why is it makes it very simple for us to click in up here and we can start filtering down what we're looking at. If I want to look at level ones, now I'm looking at level ones inside of my opportunities. Okay. The other reason why you do this is for communication. whatever tags we have built out in opportunity, we have the same tags built out on the contact side. So for instance, if this is going to be a busy week for me and I still want to communicate with my buyers, I could come over here and I could click level 1 buyers, apply. Here's my level 1 buyers. I can click on bulk action and I can now send them a text and I can check in with all my buyers instantly. So ways that I use this for leverage is I can look at the hot sheet. I can use BombBomb. I can screen record me reviewing the hot sheet or the market summary, and then I can put that message link right into here, and I can send it out to all of my buyers instantly.
When you do that, and this, we're going to get really technical for a second. When you drop the link in there and it sends it to them, does it actually populate in their text as a video, as that video preview?
I believe it comes as a link.
Okay.
Right there. So my message would be like, hey.
Either way, here, click here. Yeah.
Click this link to see all the houses that hit the market today. Exclamation mark link, and it goes out to everybody. And that's a way of me getting the hot sheet in front of all of my buyers.
And you doing it as a video, like there's a level there that you could take this again to one more level higher of being like, hey, here's a quick video, screen record it on your desktop of like, here's my top 3 favorite houses that hit the market this week. Send it to those people. And it's like, all of a sudden you're not a Zillow bot anymore. I'm not a door opener. I'm not the person that's just waiting for my buyer to bring me the link they got either from some other agent or hint brokerage and Redfin, or brokerage, Zillow and Redfin are brokerages. I'm not waiting for them to get these links from other brokers. I'm going to them and saying, hey, I'm coming to you and telling you why you need to pay attention to this house. And it's just going to up and up. And especially as a battle on buyer agent compensation continues, when you're a buyer's agent, you're going to have to start to prove your worth a bit more. That'll definitely help.
Or
get in that habit now.
Or let's say you're busy and you want to get in front of all of your AWs or your BEs. Mm-hmm. So I can click in here on my AWs and I can send all of my AWs today a message, and I could say anything, but I could say something along the lines of like, hey, it's Mikey Hyde. Do you have a couple minutes to talk this week? What's a good time to call? And I can send that out to all 32 of my contacts. And then as they respond back, I can purposefully call them. And that's how we're doing reverse bold 100s now.
That's crazy. How many people do you have in your database?
Right now in our database, like as a team,
I mean, because that idea that you just said about, so 2850. So you're doing
2850. I think 1,700 of them are my contacts. The other 1,000 are our agents. As a rainmaker, as agents come and go from the team, I end up with all of their contacts back. And that's what really helped pollute my database in 2019, 2020. And it's one of the main reasons why I hired an actual cyberbacker to do nothing but manage our database. Like right when she started about a month ago, we were at 61%, and I've been at 61% for about 2 years in command. And let's see where we're at today.
Because that idea of the reverse bold 100, which if you're not familiar with it, we always called the bold 100 from the KW Maps course bold, right? That's talking to 100 people about real estate in a single day. So a reverse bold 100 would be getting 100 people to call me about real estate in a day. And that's usually through marketing or something else. So I like that idea of what if we texted so many people that we already have a relationship or at least some communication with and say, hey, give me a call, or when is a good time for you to meet? And they're responding to that. You knock out. So you have 2,800 people. You could do your entire database in 10 days using Twilio. because
Yep.
Twilio does have a restriction of you can only do 200 unique numbers a day, so we don't get flagged as spammers by the network,
Yep.
by the cell phone networks. But it's like, how powerful would be if this week, because most people are going to have a smaller database of about 1,300 people, how powerful would it be if this week you reached out to your entire database and said, we need to talk, or, you know, whatever hook you want to put on there to get them to tell you when it's a good time to call them. It's like,
Yeah.
boom.
Like one of the best ones we did, I'm sure a lot of you have heard of the golden letter, and you can even look up the golden letter smart plan. But basically the golden letter is just a message that says like, hey, I have a couple buyers from out of town or whatever that are looking to move to the area. Do you know anybody thinking about selling that is not on the market currently? And they respond back. And what happens, for some reason, my database is not loading up right now because I'm trying to show Tony.
Let's all just act like that didn't happen. It's fine.
So basically, with that, you can do that with a bulk message, or you can do a smart plan with it. I've had some of my best listings come from that text message out of Twilio. One day I did it, and this is back before I knew you couldn't do more than 200. I think I did all 400 of my sphere with that message, and I ended up with 7 listings. One of them was a $1.7 million listing, and I went on to do several pieces of business with that seller off of that text message.
We have people crushing golden letters right now,
So
like setting listing appointment, like multiple listing appointments a week from golden letters. And so I'll include a link
right now.
Yeah, like right now is the time to start striking on sellers. I'll include again in the email and down in the description. It'll take me a couple hours to get to the writing the description, but I'll drop those in there, links to how to do the golden letter and everything. It's a great campaign.
So if you guys scan this QR code, this gives you my direct contact information. I love systems. I love building teams. I love this whole conversation around smart plans. If you have questions, general curiosities, just feel confident in reaching out to me anytime. And I'll definitely respond back to you and help you any way I can. And definitely I'll share anything that we're doing. And I would love to learn from all of you as well as you guys start working on the spreadsheets and really taking this to the next level. I would love to see what happens as everybody in KW kind of moves into the next era of smart plans and opportunity tasks.
So if people have questions about Cyberbacker and they're not in Montana, are you still a good person for them to reach out to and talk to you?
Yeah, because I can get you a connection to the right person, whatever state you're in, and we can definitely help mastermind on how. Because hiring a cyberbacker is the most amazing experience I ever went through, because you're hiring skilled workers that have the personality profile to match the job description. So it's probably been one of the most enjoyable things that I've done in the arena of hiring and training. At the same time, if you don't have your systems defined, it's going to be challenging to train. And so if you decide you want to go down the avenue of virtual assistants and cyberbackers, feel free to reach out to me, and I'll do my best to help you make it a win as you're hiring them, and set both of you up for success in the process.
Yeah, because someone had a question early on about the pricing, and I just said it can vary kind of depending on number of hours. I think it can vary on some other things too. So I think it's better if you just talk to Mike directly about it, or to Cyberbacker directly, but obviously go through Mike because it seems like he knows what he's talking about with it. Because we're in talks with them. I have a VA from another company as well. And one thing that I kind of finally almost gave into in a way was that it's like, these aren't just people that you kind of just throw tasks at, right? Like that can be, but it can be way more powerful when you see this as it's just another team member that does not live in the same country as you. That's it. That's the only difference.
That's it. You hit it on the head. Like when I first started thinking about VAs, I was like, no, I want real people in my office. Then what I realized going through COVID was no one wanted to come to the office anyways. And when they showed up, it kind of weirded me out. And, and our cyberbackers are real people. They're in real time. They're more available than any of my employees have ever been. I can text any one of them and be in a Zoom meeting in under 60 seconds. They're full-time, 40 an hour a week workers. They speak English. They love to learn and to grow. They're excited. I've not gone on one Zoom meeting with any of our cyberbackers and ever left that meeting in a bad mood because they're so happy. Cyberbackers set up the whole platform the same way KW did with Profit Share. So the way that we're like hiring is we're interviewing at least 1,000 candidates a month, and we're only hiring 100. They have to be qualified. They have to pass background checks. They have to have the skills to deliver before we're going to bring them on. On top of that, once they're vested, they're part of Profit Share. So we're paying them exceptionally well for the job, better than any other opportunity they have down there. We're giving them health insurance, and we're setting them up for growth with Profit Share. And as they learn our systems and tools, they become worth more money, not by us paying them, but by Cyberbacker bonusing them to train future Cyberbackers. And so
that was something I picked up at Family Reunion. Was I don't want to misattribute, so I'm not going to say who said it because but basically it's no, they hired one Cyberbacker or virtual assistant, and then that one hired more essentially, and so they have 10 right now, and it's a individual agent in the sense of she's the only one doing the sales, but then she has 10 administrators through Cyberbacker. She might have one person in person. I don't quite remember, but it's like to have those 10 people, and she talks to all of them, but only one reports to her, and the rest, like an organizational chart. It's like, oh my God, like when I was selling real estate full time, like what I could have done with 10 people under me, right? Like you'd be a very different world.
Well, it's amazing. Like you look at this 4-2 model that we're built. This is our team right now in a nutshell. So the director of operations is our only in-house employee we have. That's Sky Pearl. She's amazing, and she helps direct our cyberbackers. We have our marketing backer. We have our transaction coordinator backer. We have our contact backer, and now we have a full-time ISA backer that starts on Tuesday. And I'm really excited because I believe that the ISA backer in conjunction with the contact backer, that's the one piece that I've never had in my business. I've always been this part right here. That's been me. And going on listings and training. And so right now, if you went out in real time, and it would take you a while if you're following the KPA and DISC model, and you hired every one of these positions right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, minimum 45,000 a year plus bonus salaries, you're looking at $200,000 to build out these 4 pieces. And it would take you a year or 2 to hire all of these in real time. And you can do all of this for under $70,000 a year with Cyberbacker. And you could have all 4 of these in under 30 days rolling on your team right now. So if you're looking for instant leverage that's affordable, so what really is amazing about Cyberbacker, no workman's comp, no payroll. I'm paying my whole team hub with my Sparks business card, getting cashback rewards at the end of the month. Like
get them points.
I'm getting those points, dog. I'm buying a new spot and scope. Hunting season's coming.
You're gonna make a camp. You're gonna be living large in the right hotel.
Right. Well, what's amazing is our agents are having a better experience because they have the marketing they deserve. They have the transaction and contract support they deserve. They have the database being organized so that like I can't blame agents for not doing what they need to do, because at the end of the day, if they don't hit the standard, they're out. And if they're out, we're still organized because our contact backer is watching every lead They're watching everything come in real time and making sure that everybody's in a smart plan, making sure that everybody's in a safe search. Like the reality of it is the My Monthly Nurture Smart Plan executes 12 emails a year. The safe search can go instant, bi-weekly, bi-monthly, or monthly. So you can really finesse that safe search to meet any level of buyer that you have out there. However, if you have a buyer in a My Monthly Nurture and in a safe search that's monthly, that's 24 emails that are going to deliver. And that's the difference between dropping the ball completely or at least showing up to race day in some capacity. And at the end of the day, like, emails are old news. However, they're better than nothing if you're not doing anything.
I would say you say emails are old news. They're getting stronger. And that's conversion code 2.0 in
Really?
the new edition. He's talking about because something like 90%, like I said, I've only read the first chapter, but in the first chapter, he talks about 90% of people stop picking up their phone, right? So the number of actual pick up the phones have gone down. So then that turns into, it becomes important to text, like layering in your different things. But email, especially with the way social media is going, email becomes more important because people are really starting to, there's a lot of distrust with Meta. There's a lot of distrust with what's going on with the different social media platforms. So it's the email list, like keep collecting email addresses, be a vacuum of email addresses.
Shotgun effect on everything. And that's where we're at. We're just pulling any lever we can. And we're leaning into any bit of leverage that we can find along the way.
Yeah. So this was incredibly valuable, right? Like I said, I wanted to bring you on because there were things I thought I could learn from it. I have an entire list going on my whiteboard right now. That's why I kept disappearing for a second. We've got a bunch of things on my when you were talking about notes, I've just got sticky notes everywhere. That's my task manager. So we will get all the links out to everything that we've talked about. Like I said, it might take a minute. I've got an appointment right after this, but right after that, I'll get all these links out. What last things? I like my new thing, knowledge nugget. Any last things you want to impart on the remaining people?
If you're an independent agent, you are running a team. It's just a team of one. And so you got to be, do, and to have. And so no matter if you want to stay a solo agent that just has an amazing life, or you want to build the biggest legacy out there, it all starts with getting purposeful with your standards and your operating procedures. And we all signed up for the job of being real estate agents. However, as we go into the next shift, and we're in it right now, you really have to start thinking like a business CEO and really doing eat the frog head first. And what I will tell you is I've done this class several times now, and most people ask me, like, God, I really don't want to do that. I really don't want to actually build the spreadsheet. And I go, yeah, I didn't either. In fact, I tried hiring it out for 2 years. And then at the end of the day, in order for me to take our business to the next level, we had to stop what we were doing and get right and get real, and then get moving forward. And so just,
that's the title of shift tactic number 1, right? Get real, get right. So I got shift series coming out very soon. We're pre-recording it. It's going to be good. So
awesome. Well, thanks for the opportunity, Jason. I appreciate the time, and
we're
hope
definitely going to get your other one on the calendar. I'll talk to you after this. We'll get that on the calendar. Several people in the chat asked for it. So we'll get that scheduled about commanding your sphere in command. Is that what you called it? Command your sphere?
Yeah, like command your sphere.
So cool.
Boom.
All right. Thanks, Mike. We will, we're going to catch up after this. Keep an eye out for the email. Come back if you need to. Like I said, this should just pop up on YouTube as a recording. I'll update the description in a little bit. And as my old team leader used to say, go out and get a listing.
There you go.
It's the name of the game right now. So, all right. Have a good one.